Good job, Bill.
Thank you.
So there's some things that you could do. Yeah, the other thing that I thought is I think that would be the question. There's always stuff you can
I like your time. There are taking her a while. Just added the things that, color makes.
Okay, I see.
Next year. I'm gonna make it fair enough. There's no issues.
Okay.
Well, it's time, and we'll get started with the October POA meeting. Glad to see everybody here. If anyone is here for their first meeting, or it's been a while since you've been here, please let us know. Oh,
First one,
okay. And your name?
Scott Peeper,
And where you live, Scott?
224 Cedar Glade.
Okay. Well, welcome to the meeting and to the community. Glad to have you. And what's it?
The guy next to it. Is it your
Oh, I didn't see your hand.
Second meeting, but.
That's okay.
That's okay. Now, and your name
Larry Kroll,
and your address?
Cedar Glade.
Okay, well, glad to have you.
Hey.
I didn't know you live missionary. Okay, first thing on the agenda is the review of the minutes from the September meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
With that. And the general manager's report, Bill.
Tap on this one too. I'll try to make this quick, because I know we've got a good agenda, and, as I can tell by Eric's shirt, the Chiefs are playing tonight. So. The grill hours have been moved 8 to 5 for the winter months. In addition, this is the final week that the consultant will be here. His last day is the 31st. After that, we will just be ensuring that the staff has a good understanding of the food and beverage operation manual. And we'll also let him know we appreciate his work, and look forward to our staff being able to maintain some of the positive changes that were made. The roof on the banquet center has been replaced. The roofers were set to install the snow-coated steel on the guard shacks and on the covered bridge this week, but they put that on hold for Navaholz to fix the covered bridge. Navaholz should start that the week of the 17th. They start and finish that the week of the 17th. They say it's gonna take them 3 days to complete that, of November, yeah. So then the roofers they're dropping off the material, so they'll be ready to go as soon as they can. And I've notified them that it should be the week of the 17th. That's all I have.
That's it.
I'm gonna leave the mic on though. You are-
Okay. You're up, Eric.
Okay, we've got financials in front of us, and we're gonna be on the left-hand side here. Middle column to start, if anybody wants to follow along. We'll start on the bottom line. For the month of September, you can see that we recorded $42,939 in net income for the month. This was $1,699 better than budget. And if you stay in that same middle column, left-hand side, go up to the top, the green blocks. We'll start there where we see we recorded total common area revenue in the amount of $275,623. Give it a little bit more of the line item detail. Assessment revenue came in at $231,908, and that currently represents 1,110 dues-paying properties within the village. Activities and facility fees came in at $9,158. It's basically on budget year to date. In October, we will see an increase in facility fees because we did have 2 large groups, church groups, that were here for a week at a time. The good news is they had such a good time, they've already booked contracts to come back next year, so that's good to see. Welcome center revenue stayed consistent at $7,279, and that rental fee was slightly down, but reported $16,079. However, year to date, 90 rental fees are up slightly from last year, just by a couple grand, basically. And finally, we recorded other revenue in the amount of $11,199. The increase in this line is due to 3 new builds taking place. 2 builds are taking place up at Mountain View, and another on Lot 6 for our Branch Drive. So all in all, the $275,623 in total common area revenue was $8,792 better than budget for the month. We'll move down to the red block next, and though we recorded higher revenue for the month, we also recorded higher expenses, which were mainly attributable to 2 expenses, which I'll briefly allude to here. For the month, we can see we recorded total common area expenses in the amount of $281,339. That was $12,324 more than we anticipated. And looking at the detail, you can see security was elevated by basically $8,000. This was due to an incident at one of our gates where a safe dump truck could, quite honestly. It's rather costly. Recreation was in line for the month, and then common area maintenance was below budget by $4,235, as they reported $135,800 in expenses. And then finally, administration was elevated as we recorded $99,703 for the month. This overage was basically due to legal fees in the amount of $10,500. So all in all, higher revenue was not quite enough to overcome the additional expenses. And so common area posted a net loss of $5,716, which is about $3,500 on budget for the month. Move down the block down to the golf. Golf department had a strong showing in the month of September as they recorded $265,689 in revenue. It was buoyed by strong pay per play fees and stronger than expected tournament revenue. Pro shop kept expenses well under budget by about $15,000 as they recorded $68,673 in expenses, and golf course maintenance expenses were slightly over budget by about $2,000, where they recorded $118,390. Stronger revenue and lower expenses translated to a positive net income of $78,626 for the month for the golf department, and that was $33,000 better than budget. Move down one more block and get to Town Home. Town Home had a similar performance to last year as it pertains to net income, where this area posted $8,083 loss for the month. Last year was about a $7,093 loss for the month. The main contributing factor to the overage was irrigation repairs. Within the month of September, there was an additional $8,360 in irrigation repairs, bringing their total for irrigation repairs this year to $22,231. So, move down to food and beverage, and finally we arrived there. We start looking at revenue, where we see we recorded $95,532 in revenue. This figure was basically $12,000 lower than budget and lower than last year's performance. Member discounts are still trailing at 6.6% for the month. The cost of sales came in at 32.5%. Total food and beverage expense was $67,808 for the month, which is about $3,000 higher than anticipated. This translated to a net loss of $9,088. And finally, I guess on this income statement, go over to the right-hand middle column, just bottom line, you can see that year-to-date, we posted a net income of $85,270, which is about $12,000 ahead of budget year-to-date. So that's all I got for income statement. Or any questions? We'll just flip over to the balance sheet real quick, and we'll just kind of look at that on cash. You can see at the top left, our cash position is $1,607,000. We will see this balance decrease in the coming month of October, as we do have 3 pay periods within the month. We did just re-roof the banquet hall, breezeway, and then we had the other roofs on the table, but it doesn't look like they're going to be repaired until November. So you will see that decrease, but right now it's a strong cash balance for sure. Any other questions? Balance sheet.
Thanks, Eric.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, Nicole was unable to make it today because she can't see. She had a procedure. She can't go out. And she was giving her a price today. Very severe. Very severe. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. Yeah, I think you're an awesome case. Yeah.
Next is the ACC report.
Hold it this.
You want me to hold it?
No, I'll try. Good evening. We had a pretty easy month this month. There wasn't a lot on the agenda. We had a couple homes that requested some landscaping work to be done to their existing homes to refresh those. We did approve both of those. We had 2 homes request to add sidewalks around their house from their garage, from their driveway to the back, and we approved both of those. And then we had a request to remove and replace a deck with an old wood deck to a new Trex composite deck, metal railing, and we approved that as well too. We have currently 13 construction properties being under construction and monthly checklists. We have 2 of them that are struggling significantly. One is about a year and they just completed framing. The other is just over a year and they're still struggling getting into the framing stages. So we are watching both of those closely and have asked the owners and the contractors both to come into the next meeting to kind of give us an update of their issues are and what's taken them so long to get to this point. Other than that, all the rest of the construction projects at the moment are going very good and have no concerns or issues with any of those. We do have, and we presented to the board, the ACC redid the builder's application. It hasn't been updated in a long time, so we have updated the builder's application, and a lot of the stuff is current in our guidelines. We just kind of added it onto a one-pager for the builder, so we didn't have to go look in 3 or 4 places. As far as the insurance requirements, if you go and you print off the builder application, it doesn't say anything other than you have to have insurance. You got to go to a whole other section and look for the insurance requirements. So we've added that all on a one page, as well as the details, updating some of the requirements that we would like to see. We've also put on an application fee that we would like to add as well too. If you would like to be a builder in the community, you need to submit a non-refundable application fee. And then each year when we renew, you'll have an application fee to renew as well too. We're going to update our process to become a new builder, where instead of you just come in the first month and we approve you to build, if you're presenting to us, it's going to be 2 meetings. So your first month you'll come to us, you'll present your application, we'll ask you questions, and then the next period we'll do our due diligence, so we have time to even research about this builder and follow up on the references. They'll submit some homes that they've built within the area, so we could drive by and look at those as well too. So we actually do some due diligence on the builder, and not just, you're here the first month, we have no other choice but let's approve you because we don't know what to do. So we're trying to make a little bit better process and put all of that lined out in the application, so the builder understands what we're asking of them as well too, which from a builder myself, I don't think is out of line or asking too much. Happy to answer any questions on that application as well.
Now, we're going to do things a little bit different today. We're going to open the open comments section now, specific to comments regarding the proposal that Johnny just mentioned. If you have any questions or concerns, come up to the podium, state your name. You have 3 minutes, and hopefully we'll get an answer for you.
I have a question.
Sir?
You said the application fee to join.
Yes, an application fee to join,
And then annually?
and then annually you have to submit your insurance, you have to redo your application.
No useful application.
There will be an application fee at that time, but it will be a reduced fee. So the application fee to start will be $750 if you want to be a builder, and then to renew it's $250.
I have a question about the 20 miles. What does that do to any builders that are 25 miles out?
According to what we're submitting, 20 miles would be the radius that we're requesting. We went back and we looked at all the issues we've had problems with, which one is self-builds. Our last 3 builders that were in Springfield, their builds drug out to be almost 2 years. A lot of Springfield builders don't understand that. They think they can come down here and their guys are going to come with them, and they won't. They can stay and work in Springfield for the exact same amount of money and not have to come down here, so their builds drag on so long. I'm building a house down on DD Highway right now. The builder's out of Springfield and they're on year number 3. And I'm at 12 months and I'm about to be done with the house. So that gets you all the way up to Ozark, Nixa, all the way over to Galena. And that was the radius that we felt was pretty fair with what we thought should be allowed to be built in there.
That doesn't, the subs that they get, the subs could be further than 20 miles, right?
Correct. We don't have anything to do with the subcontractors, just the general contractor himself. So if his subs come from wherever they come from, that's on him. But the general contractor's got to be located within 20
Okay,
miles.
so there's some really good subs that are outside that 20.
Absolutely. And he's welcome to use any of those.
Would there be any exceptions for that?
No, we would not offer any other. If we did an exception for one thing, we'd have to do an exception for another thing. So just like the other requirements, we're saying this is it. If you don't meet these requirements, then no, we would not do any exceptions.
Anything further for Johnny?
Jenny, if you were to estimate how many builders we have in a 20-mile radius? I mean, I know that we only have 6 approved builders currently,
I would say you have
probably 3 or 4 more is what I'm thinking.
large ones, yes, but as far as within 20 miles, there would probably be 30, 40, 50, I mean, there's
Small
tons of
builders
builders.
and just build 1 or 2 houses here or whatever.
Yeah, just like we approved, we have 2 right now that are on the probation period, that are about done. Both of them have done a great job. We've had 0 violations on either of those. And they both, one of them only builds 4 or 5 houses a year, and one of them builds 3 or 4 houses a year. And we anticipate both of them to be able to be moved over once they're done with their builds. They've done a great job, good communication. They've been at all the meetings when we've had any questions or they wanted to make any changes. So we'll have a couple more coming on as soon as they're done with their current builds as well.
And the 2 builds that you have currently, those are customs being done for the 2 that are behind schedule?
No, yeah,
Are they spec homes or are they custom homes?
one of them is a spec home. The builder is from Florida. One of them is a custom home. Well, he built his own home and then now he's building a garage. So it's kind of a self-build. He's also, his business is located in Springfield. It's on the golf cart. Of course, you guys can all think of who that is, I'm sure.
Okay.
And then the other one that we're having problems with, he's out of Kirbyville. He's actually been a builder for a long time. He's built a couple other homes in here, and we're not for sure why he's at this point. That he's just getting up for it. We've asked him to come in the next month's meeting, but he's built a couple houses in here and has done great on both of those, but at the moment he's struggling on the one that he's got on Black Horse.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
I'll call for a motion to accept the ACC's proposed guidelines.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion to approve and a second. Any additional comments from the board? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Set it up.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time and thank you for that. And I believe that is all I have unless there's any other questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny.
And now the golf committee, please, Craig.
Well, good evening. What you all have in front of you, which is the primary objective we've been dealing with for the past couple of months, relates to your request for us to develop a revised golf cart policy. We spent a lot of time deliberating over this, a couple of turns back and forth with legal to make sure that we are not, we really set out to look at 3 things. We wanted to make sure it was safe. We wanted to make sure we didn't do anything that would create problems on the golf course maintenance wise or construction wise. And then thirdly, we wanted to make sure that we wouldn't create any liability for the POA or the country club. So as a result of what we developed, we ran it through Bill ran it through legal, took a look at it, and then we took a couple more iterations at what we had based upon feedback. So what you have in front of you is basically the document that we would like you to review and then vote on. It has 6 sections to it. And what we really try to do with this document is to have it as a living document that can be used and should be reviewed by anyone who has a golf cart or anyone who is contemplating buying a golf cart, whether they're a new homeowner or an existing homeowner. So we tried to clarify some things that were in the prior policy that we had that was more generic. So we tried to be more specific. The general requirements section there has more details that relates to the insurance requirements. It has more information of relating to the process by which you get a golf cart on the golf course. And it has more detail about the whole sticker process that everybody has to have in order to get on the golf course. That ensures you have the proper insurance and your golf cart's been reviewed to make sure it's appropriate to be on the golf course. Then what we did, and I think this was feedback, I was not at the last board meeting, but I think this was feedback from the last board meeting as it relates to golf cart specifications. We had put some specifications in the original proposal, and I believe you wanted more detail and more information as it regards to the specifications of the golf carts. So we took a look at what golf carts we had out there existing, as far as members had that were on the golf course today. And we took a look at what had been here in the past, as far as manufacturers. And then we sat down and looked at all the specifications provided by the manufacturer of the golf carts to see where we had commonality and where we had variation. One of the biggest variations we saw was basic speed of the golf carts, and we saw on height, overall height of the golf carts. There's just within the past few years, a golf cart was like the golf carts we had that we leased on the golf course today. Now you've got manufacturers that have come out that are enhancing the golf carts, and they're adding lifts to them, making them taller. They're adding bigger tires. They're making the overall vehicle taller. So we tried to take that into consideration from the specifications. Then we looked at our physical plan. We've got tunnels on the golf course. You can only raise those carts so high before you're slamming into the bottom of the tunnel. So we took a look at that, and that's a lot of what drove what's in the specification that we're presenting in front of you. And then we looked at the ability to have four-person golf carts. Now, we've never allowed that in the past. We do have one golf cart that has a folding rear seat that can fold down, and the individual that has that came to the golf committee before purchase and said, this is what I want to do. I don't want to have the seat down when it's on the golf course. I just want to be able to run back and forth from my condo to the pool. Or the driving range with grandkids and things like that. So we approved that under the condition that that golf cart would never be on the golf course with the seat down or any third and fourth occupant. If it was, they would lose their golf privileges. And so we clarified that a little more in the policy as far as what no four-person carts that are permanent four-person, no extended length carts and things like that. So then we looked at tire requirements, which is kind of a rabbit hole that you can go down to as far as you want to go. But we looked at the manufacturers that manufacture the majority of golf carts in use in this country, which are Club Car, Easy Go, and Yamaha. Three largest manufacturers. We took their tire specifications, and then we looked at what we had on the golf course. We looked at what people had themselves on their private carts, and so we came up with some tire specifications, which really is the width and the height of the tire. So those have been clarified in here. And then finally, the liability we looked at really tied back to anyone who has a private golf cart. You're gonna have to sign a liability waiver that's been reviewed and revised by legal. And that liability waiver essentially says that you're gonna abide by the rules if you damage any property of ledge stones or anyone's injured by your operation of the golf cart. It's on you. And so that was kind of the last thing that we took a look at.
And again, we're going to open the open forum right now for comments specific to the proposal that Craig just mentioned. If you have a comment, come up, state your name, tell us what your comment is. We will be enforcing the 3-minute limit.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think we need to have a golf committee representative at the time that's being inspected? That might be difficult to do sometimes.
That's a good point, that was brought up, and we kind of debated it internally within the golf committee, and we looked at it from the perspective of it's not 100% essential for someone on the golf committee to be there. The only time we thought it may come into play is if, for example, Phil himself couldn't be there, and Craig or one of the other folks would be actually doing the evaluation, who, like Phil, is not involved in the day-to-day establishment of this policy. So that was really the only reason why we had it there. There was no one on the committee that felt like we had to do that. So,
And you like the idea of them coming back to the committee, getting a golf court, if they're looking at a golf cart that is out of our policy?
yes, that's kind of what and it worked well with Jeff Wright. He's the one that has the four-seater. Worked well, he brought all the specifications in. We could see how it worked to make sure that he could do what he said he wanted to do. And that wouldn't create any other problems with us. It was within the weight specs,
What do you think?
everything like that.
Having somebody there?
Yep, because we've got pretty detailed specifications, so now it's not gray areas, black or white. Tires are this tall, wheelbase is this, height set, so it's easy metrics. And then it's not personal that I don't like your car. So,
And I think one of the other things is whenever the policy goes in place, that it's really up to staff to manage that. Because, I mean, whenever I read this, I thought, if Phil's not available, Bill should be able to go and manage that by appointing somebody or even that themselves, so that's good. I only have one in this, on the vehicle specification, section number 1, on the last line. I like the fact of them presenting to the golf committee for review prior to purchase or use on the course. But I'd like to insert, in my mind, I'd like to insert prior to purchase or approval given to use on that course. It's just a verbiage thing, but I think it makes more sense to say that it's basically not just the golf committee approving and then using it, but actually going through their approval process. So.
Thank you.
I'd like to understand, see if I can understand something. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other, but I just want to make sure I understand on the step up or running board, no step up or running board will be permitted. That's correct, yeah, okay.
That's correct.
So I guess I'm trying to get my head around what the purpose of that is, because obviously the golf cart can already fit through the tunnel, or they wouldn't have it out here. It's probably not, running board doesn't make it too wide to fit through the tunnel. Probably makes it easier to get into the seat. Because I've seen a couple of golf carts that don't have a running board, they probably should have. They're getting into it really high, they have to grab hold of something to really pull themselves up. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around why having a running board or a step up is a bad thing.
We didn't want to create any situation where something on the golf cart would extend past the golf cart and create a potential issue for damage.
It also might not be a lift cart.
More than likely, it's a lifted cart, yes, if it's got a running board or a step.
Well, I know you don't want to lift the cart, but there are carts without a running board that are just as high as the one with the running board out here. And they have to grab a hold of something to get into it. I mean, it's just a fact. So I just want to make sure I understood.
Yeah, that was the reason.
And
We didn't
then,
want to create an opportunity for more damage.
and then the 20-inch tire height requirement, I understand you should have 8 inches wide, but if it was 21 inches, they don't meet the requirement then?
Right.
So what happens then if it's 21 inches high? That makes the cart like an inch higher, but,
You get a 20-inch tire.
because I won't name names, but somebody said, well, they were not measuring my tire and said, you're okay, yours is 20 inches, but I know somebody has 21 inches. And I just couldn't understand how that extra inch would make that cart ineligible to be on the golf course.
The way we looked at it, Larry, is that you don't need a 21-inch tire or higher to be on the golf course. Because there's nothing on the golf course that requires you to do that. And all of our maintenance tires on every maintenance vehicle and they have the need to do things that golfers don't need to do. None of those exceed 20 inches. That's why we put 20 inches as the limit. The taller you get, the wider you get, the more likely damage that you're gonna do to the golf course. Now, the reason somebody would want a taller tire and a wider tire is so they can drive faster on the streets. Well, we don't need to do that on the golf course. The golf course has enough terrain in it, up, down, around the corner, where you need to be within the manufacturer's guidelines and specs as much as possible. And that's where these came from.
So you're saying even a tire wider than 8 inches is not good? I know a narrower tire would not be good, because it would have a tendency to sink in, but a 10-inch tire would not be good either.
No, we looked at the overall height. And nothing below 8 inches. That's where we stepped. We felt that offered enough variability for people to do their own thing with tires and wheels and all that.
All right, I'm just trying to understand.
Anyone else? Okay, discussion amongst the board.
I'm going to make a motion that we take out section 1, item number 1, and a representative of the golf committee. And then I'll make my second motion.
You say take out 1 or take out?
No, just take out the portion that says a representative of the golf committee. So it's going to say annually by the golf course management before being permitted on the golf course.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Second motion is on vehicle specifications, paragraph number 2, item number 1, to insert or approve for use on the golf course.
Okay, there's a motion. Do we have a second?
I also,
Motion and a second. Any additional comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Seems like we finally put it in the bag.
Wait a minute, I'm a little confused here. We were approving our changes, right? Now we have to approve the entire product. Yeah.
Motion for approval as submitted with the amendments.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Now we're good. Thank you.
Hallelujah.
Thank you to your. Roll business, Phil.
Okay, on the old business, we get the what retaining walls and put in the budget. So far, we have bids from Navels on a buttress system or a vertical block installation for the retaining wall at the deck at the pavilion. The vertical block installation appears to be more cost effective and have a better look aesthetically. We're still waiting on bids from the Llewellyn. The only bid that we are getting from Llewellyn is on the vertical block, and then we're not getting anywhere with Emery Staff and Sons. Made 3 calls, they're a bigger outfit, so, I'll just try to get Llewellyn's in if they're consistent. We have a decision to make. If they're off quite a bit, then we'll figure out why they're off in their scope, and maybe get a 3rd bid. But yeah, that's where we're at on that retaining wall. It'll need to be, in order to, according to Nabholz, if they do it, in order to have the pool open on time, we'll need to start that project in January. Between vertical block and buttress. Right now, based on the bids that are submitted, the buttress system is about $30,000 higher. And it looks like the vertical block looks more aesthetically pleasing. But I just figured we'd get the bids in and go over there. Do you have a preference?
No,
Yeah.
I prefer the lower price.
Lower price, but it's supposed to look better. I mean, to make sure that it does.
I prefer a lower price, we put a lot of money into that pool.
Okay.
So as far as the budget goes, we're still putting budget figures together. So far, the major increases we're seeing across the board are in payroll and insurance. Our insurance has gone up quite a bit. And we do have a wage and hour increase in minimum wage that's gonna bring some departments up. Looking at it in the budget, proposed budget, some departments are not going up at all. Some departments have a pretty substantial increase, at the highest up to 10%. So we have a couple departments right now that have a 10% increase, and we can get into the details of those once we have everything put together. Operationally, we're looking for higher revenues in golf, a better outcome in the grill, and higher revenues at facility return or rentals to help the bottom line stay healthy. Let's see, we still need to finalize estimates on golf revenue. We're looking at doing a different pricing structure there as far as pay-per-play goes. We still need good figures on depreciation, interest, and capital requests from the departments. So I plan to have everything done before the 7th, so set the deadline of the 7th to get everything completed from all the departments put together and submitted to the board by the 7th.
7th of
November.
November.
So 2 weeks,
Finance committee.
plenty of time before finance.
Okay.
I would assume that you're shopping insurance.
We did shop insurance. We're limited on who will write us.
I understand that, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
How much is your insurance gonna go up?
it's about 30%. I think it's going up from 125 to 166 total. Does that sound right?
You have clients, we're gonna have clients.
No. We had, our previous loss run, we had the $1 million lawsuit, Glenn Foster, back in 2021. That still shows up on there. And then, so they're also sending out somebody, to look at our ISO rating, which, those don't ever help, but it may in this case, we don't know, we're hoping, because they increased our value, quite a bit this go around. So, we're trying to figure out why there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a hefty increase, 30%.
And while you're there, under new business, we have the memorial bench request from Kim Benton.
So she submitted the details, and Kim and Chris, they want to donate a memorial bench to be placed at the Roark Creek Playground in memory of Jay Sams. Jay Sams passed away in August. His wife, Rhonda, still lives here, still takes her dogs down to the park. So, they're just requesting, the Vens are requesting permission to put that, somewhere in the playground on their dime at our choice of location. So I've had her submit the bench and the dimensions and the warranty, it's got a commercial warranty, it's gray, weight capacity 660 pounds, and aluminum for future maintenance. So that's all. Basically, she wasn't gonna be here to present. I told her I'd present this to you for the board.
Will the bench require a slab to be placed?
Not that I'm aware of, I don't believe so. And we've got the existing slab up there. If maintenance decided they wanted to put it there, they could put it in with the playground equipment, which we need more playground equipment there. Anyway, but yeah, any place that requires a slab, we wouldn't, I don't think we would pour that.
What's your point, Earl?
Okay, there's a motion to approve the request. Is there a second? There's a second. Any additional comments from the board? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you can tell her the bench should be placed at wherever maintenance decides, best possible placement for it without the undue.
Okay.
And the other new business item is the handicap parking placement. You know, we've touched on it in the past, but we've done a little more now. We have the drawing and the details here, so.
Right, on the parking lot, so you've got a picture of the parking lot, and I think, so it was brought up by Nicole, I think she had quite a bit of feedback possibly on moving the handicap spots. If you look on the picture there, I think you guys know where the handicap spots are currently. There's nine of those, and you can see the wider areas in between are set up for like handicap accessible vans. So based on the amount of spots we have, we need to have 6 handicap spots at a minimum. So right now we have 9, but if we're gonna move them. So in Missouri, for every 4 handicap spots, there needs to be 1 lift van accessible spot with 96-inch clearance in between aisles. So, in order to move, I think the discussion originally was to move the handicap spots from where they're located there to in front of the flags by the sidewalk. We know already there's going to be 1 Purple Heart parking spot there. So that leaves us with 4 spots, not enough room for the 96 in between. So if you did choose that as a handicap spot for the other 4 places there, we would still probably need to keep the couple closest to the building up top that could be van accessible, or maybe even a couple close above the tennis courts. So those that are accessing on this side of the village, or this side of the clubhouse here, could get to that door easier. But I think in order to still have enough handicap spots, we'll have to split them up. Because that was just a recommendation that Nicole had to put on the agenda from people she's talked to. I think that the idea is it's a longer walk. It's a more treacherous walk, it's a steeper slope.
It is a steeper slope over there.
You gotta know where to start.
Well, if you come out in front, you go straight down the sidewalk, there's a parking spot in front. If you come out in front, you go straight down the sidewalk to those 5 spots there in front. You are walking uphill, kind of on a side hill, over to the other spots. So that's, I'm sure that's why she was requesting those down in front, where it's just a straight shot down on the sidewalk. And, well, Bill's suggestion, but I like his suggestion, if you kept those 2 van accessible ones up on the top there, and then just moved the other 4 down there, you get your 6. You have the 2 van accessible ones up here now, where they are now. You just eliminate those others up there, and move them over here to those 4 spots.
Bill, I have a question in reference to the 4 spots that we're talking about. Do you not have to have any cross lines? Do you not have to have additional space between the parking spaces?
There,
So in fact, I'm seeing that those 4 would become 3 possibly.
they could, but really where you need the major distances for your van accessible. So we left those others for van accessible. But I might have to look into unless we may have to make the van accessible parking strictly for van accessible parking and not allow, right now, you can park wherever, we just have enough spots for the van access. But we may have to stipulate that this is only for van access, because they are wider. And the way it was worded was, we had to have a minimum of 1 for every 4 handicap spots to be van accessible, only, to be van accessible only.
But I would think that we need to have more than 1, because most people that are traveling now, I think they have that pulling off ramp that comes out of the van on the side, correct?
Yeah, and the existing 9, they're all set up that way to fit, because you've got 1 by itself, then the wider space, and then you have 2 together, so every space has a wide side to it.
That's what I was saying. Okay,
I think maybe at this point, it's my opinion, but I think maybe we need to give it more thought and think about it some more and not take any action tonight.
I agree with that.
I agree. I think we ought to take a little bit more time, also look at that actual sidewalk. If I remember, that sidewalk angles down and it's not flat, so we also need to look at that, whether it's any better of a grade than actually going up to those other spots.
And you gotta go all the way down, because you gotta cross on the grass, the grass is gotta real slow.
Yeah. I think we need to look at all of that.
motion to table until the next meeting.
I second that.
Okay, the motion to table in a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, table. Now we're to the open forum. If you have anything to say, come up to the podium, state your name, and let us know what's on your mind.
My name is Larry Kroll. I live in Cedar Glade, and I just have 2 things to do on Cedar Glade Drive. We talked to a few people down through there who'd like to have some street lights put up. Maybe 4, not real sure, just depends on where they could be located. But people walk their dogs and stuff at night, it's really dark back up there. And with the bears that might be around, it's kind of scary walking out in there at night. So that's just one thing we'd like to have done. And the other thing I was looking at is a fitness center room. I talked to quite a few people there, and they'd like to get a station machine in there that has more than 1 section on it. I do have some things I can pass out here.
It's like a multi-use.
And I talked to a few people, they said that they've never seen anybody use the rolling machines. And they take up a lot of room in there. And if we could get a station machine in there, that multi-purpose deal, it has a lot of things you can do, different prices. And I talked with the guy at Play Against Sports. He said we can put up anything. He's put some equipment here before, I believe. And just contact him and he can get anything we need there. So that's 2 things I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Scott Paper, Cedar Glade, first meeting, might as well get my name out there. I just had a question, if there was a possibility where, what's the name of that street? Vining Meadows, the corner of Vining Meadows and the main road, Silver Lake or whatever it is. Forest Lake. On that corner, it seems like that's the only corner when you come up to that, to turn down the hill, there's a cottonwood tree growing up right there. And I'm sure it's on the right of way of the property here, but it's hard to see when you're coming up to that to turn to go down Vining Meadows or vice versa, coming up, you can't see a car coming from the other direction. And the tree limbs just need to be trimmed up about head high on that cottonwood, maybe one other tree right there. But there, seems to me it's the only corner I've been looking that's all grown up, and I'm not even asking y'all to do it. I'll volunteer to go up there and trim a tree. No big deal.
Is it north side or south side? Is your head down from
I'm
the place? Is it on
too
the
new
left?
to know where. Is your head to my house?
Going to your house?
Going to my house on Forest, whatever.
Forest Lake?
When you go to turn, it's right there on that corner,
That's on the right hand side.
right hand side.
So before the turn.
Well, it's right on the corner. It's got you covered from both directions.
Okay.
But you can't see somebody coming up that hill and somebody going down, and that's the directions you give everybody to come visit.
But it's not on the side of that house that's
No, there's no house on that corner.
there. Yeah, the house is on the other side.
It's house on the other side, yeah. And I just, like I said, I volunteer to go up under your direction if you want. I don't care. I'm semi-retired.
Thank you for the offer. Is that something, Bill, that you can ask John Ritter, take care of?
Since you're in offering, there's a tree in the middle of number 7.
Got a chainsaw, we'll travel. What time you get up in the morning?
Okay.
I know.
I just want to say, because I'm the same way, I drive a low vehicle, so periodically I notify the POA and have them talk to John or come or a maintenance guy, because they drive in different vehicles and they don't see what we don't see, so. He's really good about taking down trees, trimming back and doing all that. All you have to do is let the POA know
Thank you.
and not do it yourself.
Always will.
Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you for all attending, and the next meeting will be on November the 24th, same time. And just planning ahead, there will be no December meeting, as usual.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
and a second, all in favor?
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Johnny?
Phil, if you grab a copy of that policy. Okay, I got it all Okay. Looks on the website. Are you interested in